Hey everybody, I'm your host Kai, and in today's video we're going to jump into the Reddit of are the cis okay? And the common fact is no, they're not okay, so let's jump into the video.
If you're respectful and pass as a specific gender, then that's your gender. If you're an ass, I'll misgender you. From a political and scientific standpoint, your gender is the same as your biological sex. No, actually, it's not. Gender and sex are two different things. But anyways, and the other person's like, so you can be an ass to other people, but you expect them to take your word as law. Yeah, I think that's exactly what the other person expects, because they don't even understand the difference between sex and gender. Gender is social, sex is what's between your legs. And that can change too, thanks to modern medical science. My word isn't law. I'm not a politician or dirty deity. Yet you think you have the power to dictate other people's genders. Your gender is how you are seen by others. No, that is not at all the definition of gender, little buddy. You can't call yourself what you want, but the fact is, if you look like a man, you'll be treated like a man. And if you look like a woman, you'll be treated like a woman. Can, not can't. That was a typo. Factually incorrect, which is factually incorrect. But, you can't expect the straight cisgender people to understand definitions or English language or anything past 5th grade biology, because that's when they dropped out of school. Wow. What you're really just saying is you don't like my opinion because all I've done is give you my opinion. I'm saying that facts don't care about your opinion. Your grammar sucks, bud. No, I think it'd be you. That your grammar sucks. And yeah, like this person said, I mean, isn't that what your side likes to say, that facts don't care about feelings or facts don't care about opinions? Facts don't care about your opinion of biological, issues, since you don't even know anything past the 5th grade level of biology. None of these transphobes know anything past 5th grade biology. I mean, there's the same kind of arguments that they used to use towards the rest of the LGBTQIA community. They used to use these same arguments. They used to say, well, being gay isn't natural, and shit like that. And now they say the same thing about people that are transgender and non-binary. They just keep on recycling the old arguments that they've been using since, I don't know, the beginning of fucking bigotry. And then the person's like, are you serious right now? Yes. Amazing. Yeah, amazing that this person doesn't listen to anything that you had to say about the matter, or even understand anything past 5th grade biology, or understand that humans are complex creatures, or the difference between gender, which is social, and sex, which is between your legs. Which, yes, the thing that's between your legs can change as well. So yes, people can change their gender. I mean, well, their gender is who they are. But yes, people can change their sex. People can. Like that's, because gender is social. Sex is what's between your legs. But you can change that. That's what sex reassignment surgery is. So, like, I know some people out there in the LGBTQIA community are like, oh, you can't, we're not changing anything, our gender is who we always are, which is true, and we can't change our sex, but you technically can. Like, you can change your sex to match your gender. That's what, like, the whole point of gender reassignment surgery is. So you actually technically can. I get why a lot of people don't bring that up, because you gotta make some leeway, I guess, with the bigots, I guess, is where you're going with it. But I'm just saying, facts are facts. But the point is yeah, this person obviously is being serious, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. None of these people that claim these kind of things are a biologist. Like, they always want to claim these transphobic things, but they're not a biologist. So unless you understand the complexities of humanity and biology and sociology and all these things, just shut the fuck up. Just take some tape and tape your mouth fucking shut. Oh my god, I don't know what to even say of this. Let's go ahead and read it. Can't decide what kind of waifu do you want. Waifu. Ugh. The waifu and husbando. I watch anime, right? I do like watching anime. Like, I am a fan of anime. But this whole kind of crap just makes me hate the fact that I like anime. And it goes, this chart may help you, and it's lolly, woman, trap, and man. And just the fact they're like, oh, it's not legal, but it can love you. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Lolly is never a fucking option. That is a fucking child. And you're just showing that you're a fucking pedophile. I'm not even going to read the rest of it. Because the rest of it, is transphobic and anti-woman as fuck. You need help. You need to seek... No, you know what? You don't need help. If you want to fuck children, you deserve to be castrated and have your balls cut off. You're a sick, disgusting human being. I've seen this guy's Facebook post before in the past and tweets and stuff. I've never heard this guy speak, and thank God I have never heard him speak, because I've seen his post and he just sounds like a person who would be insufferable. And I'm surprised that Charlie Kirk, nobody did that to this guy. Anyways,
he's like, I've been saying that trans ideology is basically defeated at a culture and political level, and I still think that's true.
It's not. It's not true. Nothing you say is true. You made an entire documentary, about what is a woman, right? Because you're like, oh, liberals don't know what a woman is, and you made an entire thing, and you yourself probably don't even know what a fucking woman is, or realize that it's a lot more complex than that. But you're an idiot. You even made a documentary like, I'm not racist, and then just was completely outright racist. I've read the stuff, okay, of what was mentioned in your so-called documentary, so I don't have to watch it to know. Anyways,
so he's like, but that only makes it adherents even more dangerous, as they face humiliation, have devoted their lives to a lie that everyone has now moved on from.
Trans people have existed since the beginning of the human race, asshole. People that are trans and non-binary and gender non-conforming would wish you would move the fuck on and leave them alone. They're not going to become desperate because you left them alone or don't acknowledge their existence. This is a load of shit.
Many of them will decide that they can't live with the horror, and they'll want to kill as many people as they can on their way out.
Bullshit. You want to know statistically, asshole, of who kills more people? People like you. People that are far-right, conservative, cis, white, gender men. Not women, not cis gay people, not cis lesbians, not trans people, not non-binary people, not gender non-conforming, but cis gender white men statistically kill more people. I'm just saying, you are a fucking idiot. Somebody shut him up.
Oh, ha, you're so funny. You're like, see, this is white diesel. That's what I identify as.
You guys only have one joke. That's all y'all have. You're pathetic. It's always one joke. This is the Attack Apache helicopter joke in a new form. That's all y'all have. You're pathetic. You could never be stand-up comedians, because the only people that would actually listen to your shows is washed-up losers like yourselves. And just in case you were curious of what that exactly was, this person explains it. That is red diesel, which has been dyed red to indicate it is not subject to taxes when purchased. It is only allowed to be used by tractors, machines, and other non-highway road driving vehicles and equipment. It is illegal to use red dye in a car or truck. And I'm also pretty sure that this kind of diesel is bad for your engine if you do use it in your vehicle, as it's formulated for older, less efficient engines. So it's like, yeah, for his little fucking joke, he probably just ruined his car. Just to be like, haha. It's like, yeah, you just fucked up your car, so the joke's on you, dumbass.
Time for us to turn Greenland into Trans Island. All trans will be deported there, and they can live happily ever after, away from our kids.
Trans people are not trying to go for your kids. Trans people don't give a shit about your fucking kids. Trans people want trans children to be protected, dumbass. And not only that, do you realize how Nazi that sounds? That's literal Nazi rhetoric. We're going to take the trans people and put them on an island. That's known as the Madagascar plan. That's literally Zionist kind of shit. Because literally that's where Zionism came from, is the Nazis wanted to take Jewish people and stick them somewhere else. And then basically Zionists are like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's run with that. But literally, that's Nazi shit. As this person said, it goes, and displaced native Greenlanders, we do not need more enemies with the indigenous people of Greenland. And when is Greenland ever this warm? Also, this reminds me of another genocidal political movement. Also, why fascist and AI slop? Look at one of the hands. There's an extra finger, something human artists would not do. And someone's like, I'm fully convinced that these people, including Trump himself, are mixing up Greenland and Iceland because of the name. Yeah, Greenland is the cold place. Iceland is the warmer one. Just thought you'd like to know that. They're backwards. And yeah, it's AI slop. Like, it's always AI slop. What is it with conservatives and transphobic people using AI slop all the damn time? And here's a history lesson, since, we were talking about the Madagascar plan, right? The Madagascar plan was a plan proposed by the Nazi German government to forcibly relocate the Jewish population of Europe to the island of Madagascar. Head of the Jewish department of the German Foreign Office proposed the idea in June 1940, shortly before the fall of France. The proposal called for the handing over control of Madagascar, then a French colony, to Germany as a part of the eventual peace terms. But yeah, they're like, hey, let's take all the Jews and put them here. That was actually at one point, another plan was to put them in Israel. Kind of like what the area that's known as Israel, which is actually Palestine. But yeah, they're like, hey, let's put the Jewish people, like the Germans, like, hey, let's put the Nazis, not Germans now, but the Nazis were like, hey, let's take the Jewish people and put them there in that area called Palestine, and they can call it Israel. So yeah, that's Zionism is Nazism, plain and simple. So anyways, back to the original topic of saying let's take trans people and put them on Greenland. You're speaking Nazi shit. You're speaking Nazi rhetoric when you say that kind of garbage. So basically, I guess this transphobes admitting that transphobes are Nazis. So it's a picture of Archie Bunker, and it says, liberals want a female president yet can't define one. So how would they know when they have one? You guys can't even define a woman. Like, we ask you for a definition. You're like, well, a person that, can give birth. Yeah, but not all women can give birth. They're like, well, people that have XY chromosomes, and then sometimes you're like, XY chromosomes. You can't even get the chromosomes right, because you're like XY. That's a person that you would consider a man. And they're like, well, you know what I mean. No, we don't, because you don't even know what you mean, because you get it wrong. And not only that, you do realize that Archie Bunker is satire. It's a parody of conservative people like you. He's not your hero. He's a parody. It's satire. You're not supposed to look up to Archie Bunker because he's making fun of you all. And as this person said, right, in the comment section, like, projections, since most transphobes have gone so far down the rabbit hole of trans investigation that they themselves can't identify cis women anymore. And that is true. I don't know how many times I've seen on Twitter, right, before I left Twitter, but, I left Twitter, like, earlier this year. I was like, I'm done with Twitter. I hadn't even been on Twitter for a while. But anyways, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother topic and for a whole nother video. But the point is when I used to be on Twitter, I would see people, like, to try to, see how well they could tell and how well they knew what a woman was. And they would post famous person and go, this person's a trans woman. Is she a woman? They're like, no. And then it's like, obviously a picture of a famous celebrity that was a cisgender woman. And they would do this with, famous cisgender male celebrities and say, this is my trans man friend. Are they a man? The person would be like, no. And it just go to show that they themselves do not know what a man and woman is. They just go based off of how they perceive somebody. And they're usually 100% of the time wrong. And this person brings up what I brought up. Using Archie Bunker for this shows they don't actually understand the character. Heck, All in the Family even did an episode addressing transgender hate crimes in its clumsy 1970s way, where no one, not even Archie, dead named or spoke badly of her, to her face anyway. He made it clear he was uncomfortable, but Edith mourned her and called her a sister. So yeah, they don't even understand, but they don't even understand that Archie Bunker, the character, was satire. You're not actually supposed to look up to his character. And the thing is as the show progresses, he realizes certain things that he thought was incorrect and comes to terms with some of the ways and views that he had and changes as a person. Because that's what we're supposed to do with new information that we receive. We're supposed to become better, people, not because today the same bigoted assholes that we were to begin with. J.K. Rowling, I'm looking at you. You're like how old, and you're still a bigoted fucking cunt. I'm not gonna say this particular word. It's a slur and shouldn't be used. And it's also the most fucked up porn category ever, and demeans people that are trans. And so I will not use that phrase. But it goes, oh, look, the addicted to fat fetish furry porn is trying to tell me to cope, and wonders why people are rapidly turning their back on the alphabet mob and trans groomer agenda. Be gone, creature, and seek immediate psychiatric help for what Epstein did to you, ASAP. You realize that your transphobia, this modern wave of transphobia, because transphobia has always existed, but you do realize that the modern wave of transphobia was caused by Jeffrey Epstein. The alt-right, all this far-right conservative bullshit, this new modern wave of it, was orchestrated by Jeffrey Epstein on his little pedophile island. Like, he came up with this stuff. He invented it. He pushed for it, and this is his thing. That's what he's behind. This modern wave of this crap. It's like recently been revealed with the files being released that he's responsible for this kind of crap. That's all him. That's all his doing. And I guess this is somebody's profile, and it's like 3D artist, gaming enthusiast, and eccentric centrist. Centrists are nothing other than bootlickers. I'm just going to put that out there. If you're a centrist, you're a fucking bootlicker. You're no better than the conservatives. You're like, oh, I'm a centrist. The both siding issue is just a pussy ass move. You know, saying, oh, well, you know, the fascists, you know, have a point, but so does your side. No, the fascists don't have a point. So if you're both siding it when it comes to other people, like the rest of the world versus fascist, you're just a fascist. You're just a bootlicker. Okay? But, you know, that's like actually when you really think of the entire Democratic Party, because they're nothing but a bunch of centrist conservatives. The entire fucking Democratic Party, with the exception of Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, I apologize. Except for them and Mom Donnie, those are the only actual left, you know, anything remotely fucking liberal or leftist or progressive. The rest of them are a bunch of centrist boot fucking lickers or pieces of shit. And I can't wait until the centrists of the Democrat Party die. It's like, results may vary. Extra flavor, pretty fly for a high guy. I bet you're not. Openly resist Gen I and trans groomerism. See, there's one good thing is, yes, we should resist generative AI. I'm totally down with that. Trans groomerism doesn't exist. Majority of the people that do grooming, again, are cis, white men. I said the people that do most of the grooming on this fucking planet are cis, white men.
Western propaganda will brainwash you into thinking traps are generally women. Trap or used to be a genuine anime term until the LGBT shit got introduced by Epstein. I guess it's fair to call trans people whatever. Imagine if Steins Gate was animated in 2026.
Imagine if you had a decent thought in your fucking skull and weren't a complete fucking idiot. The whole trap thing, I'm not even going to talk about that because you just don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And LGBT has always existed, dipshit. And the thing is Epstein actually targeted trans people. Trans people were actually Epstein's victims. Like I said earlier in this video, is Jeffrey Epstein is behind this recent wave of transphobia. And to prove my point, here's an article. When a trans teen spoke out about Epstein and no one listened. New reporting has renewed focus on one of Jeffrey Epstein's earliest accusers, a transgender teen whose allegations were dismissed and mocked instead of investigated. Advocates say her treatment reflects how bias against trans women can silence survivors and enable powerful abusers. As Epstein's legacy is re-examined, questions remain about whether early accountability was possible if her voice had been taken seriously.
I saved my daughter from trans cult. from trans cult. I don't even think that's proper English. It was very much like pulling someone out of a religious cult and took a full year, but she is safe now.
No, she's not safe now. Or he is not safe now. Or they, since I don't know your child's actual pronouns. But no, your child's not safe. They're now in danger. You know, these steps that I'm about to read just sound like a way an abuser cuts off their victim from the rest of the world so they can't figure out they're being abused. Like, literally, these are steps of a narcissistic sociopath cutting off their victim so they can continue to victimize them.
But they're like, how I did it. 1, get them off the internet. Many websites feed trans identity.
No, you cut them off from the internet so the only facts they would have is any facts you gave them. You cut them off from an information source, therefore they can't find out the correct information. That way they have to listen to you as if you're a prophet. That's actually how you start a cult, is you cut somebody off from any news or source or any information source, and all they have is you. Therefore, you become the ultimate revelator, the truth, the light, and the way.
Number 2, remove them from feeding environments. Teachers, counselors, doctors, and trans friends.
So remove them from anybody that might help them deal with what they're going through. It's like, oh, that teacher might realize I'm abusing them and got to cut them off from the counselor because the counselor might help them walk them through their gender dysphoria or whatever issues they may have. And their trans friends, they can't have any support that might let them know that there's nothing wrong with who they are. Again, cutting them off from this, like I said, this is literally signs of how to start a cult.
Help them touch the nature.
Touch the nature? Do you mean help them touch nature? To touch the nature? Okay, whatever.
Farming especially helps.
Yeah, literally, this is cult thing. Like, are you going to, like, invite other people to do the same thing, and then you're just going to have this anti-trans cult on a compound somewhere, like your name was Warren Jeffs?
Number 4, move to a different country.
Okay, Jim Jones Jr. You know, that's what Jim Jones did. You know, he followed all those steps, just minus the trans part. But, like, yeah, he cut the people off from any news source of information, cut them off from doctors, counselors, people that were like them, and all that stuff. Helped them touch nature, you know, with farming, all kinds of other stuff, and then moved to a different country. Then at that point, he had them fully cut off, and then they drank the Flavor Aid and died. This is literally cult-like narcissistic behavior. You're not the good guy in this. You're the villain. Twitter. Gotta love Twitter, right? Not really. And it's like, breaking news. 0 trans people have been named in the Epstein files. Not necessarily true. Trans people were listed as victims.
But this person's like, so, no mentally ill people in the Epstein files?
Dude, people that are trans are not mentally ill. People that are transphobic are probably the ones that mentally ill. But you shouldn't just throw the term mentally ill around like you're doing. And I apologize for doing it just now. You shouldn't throw that term around. That's very fucking ableist of you, of throwing it around like it's some kind of insult. People that suffer from mental health, that should not be stigmatized like it is. They should be able to seek the help that they seek. And it shouldn't be thrown around as an insult of anyone that you don't like you did. But another thing, trans people, non-binary people, and gender fluid and gender non-conforming people aren't mentally ill, you fucking ass. But remember how I said Epstein targeted trans people? And, well, here's something about it. Emails reveal Epstein encouraged controversial scientists to study transgender biology. Correspondence in the Epstein files reveals more information about the billionaire's ties to Robert Trivers. And see, the thing is, what he wanted to do is he wanted to make people, you know, transition people by force so he could have sex with them because he had a fetish of trans people. He's like, oh, they're kind of like women, but they have men parts, you know, which is transphobic as fuck and just so bigoted on so many levels. Like, he was like, oh, it's the best of both worlds, like a bigot would, like a chaser. So basically, Jeffrey Epstein was a chaser when it came to trans people and targeted them and wanted to do horrible, despicable things. Since we're on the topic of Jeffrey Epstein, so remember how I said Jeffrey Epstein, since some of these people that are transphobic, they want to choose Jeffrey Epstein as their hero, even though he's a pedophile, or they want to try to say, well, I don't like trans people, and that was created by Jeffrey Epstein, which I proved no, it wasn't. He actually attacked trans people, and I said that not only that, Jeffrey Epstein also was behind the current wave of transphobia and also the current wave of conservatism. Right here it is, how Jeffrey Epstein sought to help Steve Bannon build a global populist movement. And you know what that global populist movement is? MAGA shit. He helped it because Steve Bannon, as you know, is really close friends with Donald Trump. And this is like basically him and Stephen Miller are the co-conspirators of behind the modern MAGA movement. So if you're MAGA and you're conservative and you're like, yeah, I'm conservative, I'm MAGA, and I'm transphobic, your ideology was created by a pedophile. And continuing with that, another article about how Jeffrey Epstein is behind a lot of this conservative far-right bullshit. You know, those far-right conservative conspiracy theories? The truth is out there, how the Epstein files turned everyone into a conspiracist. And in it, it mentions how he was behind the QAnon movement because he was friends with the person that started that particular 4chan thing that started the QAnon stuff, which is ironic because the QAnon stuff that QAnon was accusing people of was the very thing that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were actually behind. And then, of course, another thing, did Epstein help create the alt-right too? And it talks about his connection to a very powerful alt-right person. So yeah, like MAGA and alt-right people and these far-right conservatives that are also transphobic, your movement was created by a literal pedophile on his pedophile island. You've been duped. They have you worrying about trans people and the LGBTQI community and immigrants. That way you never figured out what they were doing on the island. So yeah, you've been duped. And one more thing about Jeffrey Epstein, and then we'll get back onto the thing. And I'm just saying this because some of these people were, you know, transphobic. They want to put Jeffrey Epstein as their hero, and he's transphobic. He's a pedophile. But I guess apparently being a pedophile was enough, so I'm just pointing out other things that they might be pissed off about. Do you hate microtransactions in games? Well, Jeffrey Epstein was behind that. Call of Duty microtransactions were pushed by Jeffrey Epstein. So, like, quit using him as your hero. He's a pedophile, for one. But if that's not enough for you, you know, and it's not enough that he's transphobic and he's a pedophile, he's responsible for microtransactions in games. I mean, he's just an all completely horrible, despicable fucking human being. A pedophile, a transphobe, and alt-right. And he's responsible for all these modern far-right conservative transphobic movements. Your movement was started by a literal pedophile. Why is it always this kind of shit?
Women for Trump 2024.
And it shows two anorexic women, by the way, that probably need to eat some food. And it goes,
Women for Biden 2024.
You thought you were funny there. You thought you had something clever. You're like, hey, I'm not just going to insult women with facial hair, but I'm going to also insult people that I don't think fits my standards of how much I think someone should weigh. Oh, and you're a racist. Yeah. You didn't, like, win anything here with the argument or the fact that, you know, people that probably supported Joe Biden in 2024 were probably people of various different sizes, colors, race, creeds, and all that. But whatever, like, don't let facts stand in your way of your bigotry. Facebook schizo boomers are now transinvestigating Shrek.
Subliminal feminization of children's media part 6.
It's a fictional character. Why are you trans-investigating a fictional fucking character? It's an ogre, by the way. It's not even a human. It's a fucking ogre. Not everything has something to do with trans people. Why? I swear, people that are transphobic think more about trans people than trans people themselves. I'm friends with a lot of trans people, and never have they talked this much about trans people as transphobic people do. Like, really, they don't. It doesn't come across their mind as much as it does with these transphobic people. And again, it's Shrek. He's a fictional character, honey. He's a fictional character. You're wondering if a fictional character is actually trans. Get a fucking life.
No matter what you do to this building, everyone knows it used to be a Pizza Hut. That's what the trans community fails to understand.
You're comparing people to a building. You're comparing human beings to a fucking building. And actually, no. You could repaint this entire top of the building and paint it different colors, and it would no longer be a Pizza Hut. You could change it very drastically with a lot of construction work, and it would not look like a Pizza Hut building anymore. That's what you fail to understand. And it's like this person said, yeah, but if you went inside and demanded someone make you a pizza, you'd get some funny looks. Yeah, like, go ahead, go into that Pizza Hut and demand, for pizza. You'll get some funny looks. I really don't know what's wrong with the cis people.
So that's all we have time for this video of Are the Cis Okay? Tell me in the description bar down below of what you thought of any of this content and whether or not you think the cis are okay. I'm going to go on a limb and say no. They are not okay, but we'd love to hear your feedback. Check the description bar down below for the usual links and stuff. If you like this kind of content, you want to see more of this kind of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified of future videos of Are the Cis Okay, Accidental Ally, LGBTQI memes, and other content like that with me, Tiny Kitsune, and of course, Diamond Ash. Anyways, thank you for watching. I've been your host, Kai. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.
I want blue streets, hear the crowd stomping loud. I want blue